Hey y'all, I'm Sarah, your coaching hypnotherapist, and today I am talking about self-sabotage. What is it and why do we do it? In short, it is an unconscious thing that we do to ourselves based on our beliefs. So an example might be when we really want something but we keep not achieving it, or we hit roadblock after roadblock. Often these things appear as circumstances, so we might think we don't have any control over what's happening, when in fact it could actually be something that we are attracting into our field. Because if deep down our belief is that we aren't worthy or good enough or deserving of that thing that we want or that we're trying to achieve, well, basically it's the belief that stops us. So even if you consciously think you're choosing or taking action, the subconscious mind is always running the show, and that's where our beliefs are stored. So it just makes it that much harder for, things to happen if our belief isn't aligned with the thing we want. So you might be wondering, why do we have these beliefs in the first place? And honestly, it is going to vary just depending on each individual, but essentially our beliefs are formed from a very young age through childhood based on our experiences, but most importantly, our perception. Because we all have a unique perception for how we view the world. So I'm not just talking about, negative experiences, although I think that we can agree that those are certainly going to have an impact on the beliefs that we have. But I'm talking about just experiences in general and how we take that information into our brains and process it from our unique perception. So let's break down the why, which stems from our beliefs, just to give a little bit of context. So these are 5 really common examples or reasons why we might self-sabotage. Number 1, fear of failure. When that fear of failing becomes so strong, we'd rather not try at all. Number 2, not feeling worthy. So when deep down we feel unworthy or undeserving of things like success or happiness. Number 3, it feels safer. The unknown can be really scary, so we get comfortable with the familiar, even if the familiar means being unhappy. Number 4, imposter syndrome. So when we start doubting our skills or abilities, or we don't feel qualified enough, we spend time overthinking and comparing ourselves to others. Number 5 is fear of intimacy or rejection. So when our past experiences dictate our current reality, we often results in pushing people away or avoiding relationships or getting close to others. So regardless of the reason why we self-sabotage, the how often shows up in our thoughts, our behaviors, our actions, our inaction, which can often look like things like procrastinating, comfort eating, self-medicating, destructive thinking, and even self-harm are just a few examples. Now, I just want to reiterate that self-sabotage is super common. And again, it's usually done unconsciously, meaning we aren't aware that we're doing it. Although sometimes we are aware, but if we don't know where the belief, where it all stems from, it can still make it really challenging for us to stop that behavior or make any real changes. So essentially, our subconscious mind doesn't know that the belief we have isn't a helpful one. It just knows that's our belief and it's going to do whatever it can to protect it. So therefore, a lot of these behaviors are an instinctual protection of some kind that was important in our life probably at some point or another. So number 1, self-compassion. We can't spend time, wasting time blaming or shaming ourselves once we realize that we've been in a pattern of self-sabotage. Then we can, check to see if this protection is still relevant for our lives today. And if not, then we can make, necessary changes. So if any of what I've talked about today, maybe rung true or you feel intrigued to know more, stay tuned for part 2 of this video where I talk about, more of how to assess whether you are self-sabotaging and of course ways to stop. And I would love it if you hit subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss out on part 2, and I look forward to seeing you then. Have a great day. Ciao.